Okay guys, welcome back to Sanity Maintenance. Today we're going to be talking about the VRO, which you'd find on your Evinrudes and your Johnsons, and maybe some other stuff that I don't know about. I'm no expert on this by no means at all, but I do know a hell of a lot more about them than most people do that work on them. Normally when you hear VRO, people start tending to shy away from them. Mainly because when they first came out, they had a lot of issues with them. VRO meaning variable ratio oiling system. So the ratio of it actually changes from idle to top end, depending on which one you have. To my knowledge, there's 3 of them out there. So you had the first generation, second generation, and finally the third, and 2 different pulse limiters as well. They finally settled with the last pulse limiter being the blue one. If you have a black one, they said to upgrade to the blue. But anyways, they had so much trouble when they first came out that people were starting to rip them off and get away from them, mix their oil with their gas. That was their prerogative to do it, and probably a good reason for it too. I didn't have to deal with that area too much on the first one, and got into the second one. I did have to start dealing with it, and I could kind of understand why. The ratio differences between the two, especially if you're running 2 different engines on the back of your boat, and you're having one, you got one that smokes a lot, and then you got another one that doesn't, and it turned into being a parts problem where you're getting parts mixed up between 1 and 2. Excuse me. And then the effect of it is one engine would smoke like hell and the other one wouldn't, and therefore on the last one as well, the third one. Which is the common part number now. I don't know what it is right off the top of my head, but it was the one that everybody settled on and they worked on. So at low idle, you will be running one ratio on it. It's like I don't know if it's 50 to 1 or 40 to 1, somewhere around that area on idle. And then as it increases, it takes and changes the adding more oil to it, the system, for it to run a little harder. But it had a lot of knockdown over them. And a lot of people really don't know a lot about them, so I'd at least try to put a little video out here on a little beer talking, see what was on my mind. Get back in a second. Okay, I got me another hand grenade here. Yeah, most people just didn't care for them too much because of them going through the phases that they went through to get everything like they want them. They were just trying to keep everything where if you don't need the oil, there's no sense in burning it or having that amount of oil going to the engine, but you needed a lot of oil at full throttle, so that's what it was designed for. And that's why they changed pulse limiters too. But as far as the bad things about it, I don't really know of anything that's really bad about them. Most of that is generally due to maintenance issues. If you're smoking a tremendously a lot of oil or a lot of smoke coming out, well, the VRO pre-mixes your gas before it goes into the carburetor. Keep that in mind if you don't know much about them. So you're basically pre-mixing it, and it's going into the carburetor. It's already pre-mixed. It's in all the carburetors. Okay. So you shut the engine off. You leave it there for a month. You come back. Well, obviously the gas has been kind of evaporated. So now when you fire it up, you got more oil than you got gas. So you're gonna have a lot of smoke. That's another big issue people didn't like about them. Well, to be honest with you, if you trailer your boat or you leave it sitting at home, I mean, you're going to have the different issue if you do pre-mix it, just like this oil here I have sitting here. You should probably be able to see the line right here. It's been sitting here for about 3 hours. Oil and gas is separating in it right now as I speak. And this is a really good 2-cycle Quicksilver synthetic blend oil. And it's in there with a, I think it's 96 non-ethanol gas, which is silver. So it's separating as we speak. So if you go to crank it up, that's going to be a separation. It's sitting on the trailer while you're home trying to run it or whatever. So to me, I'd rather have the oil than no oil, just being honest with you. But as far as the good things about it, their systems finally did come up to be pretty nice. I think there's Ferris gauges. I can't remember how to pronounce them. It's kind of a foreign gauge. But it does give you an oil alarm, which is good. Hey, you're not getting an oil. And also, damn will give you a low fuel alarm too as well. So if either one of these get low, their systems would let you know what was going on. This is on the last part of stuff, the late 90s area, where some of the first systems wouldn't give you these alarms. I know the one that we have here now, and some of the ones I worked on, they would give you a low fuel alarm, which is the most common, which came in to be uh, mostly anti-siphon valves and stuff being on boats in that area and things like that, or maybe even a cracked gas line. The gas does come from the tank going to the outboard, so if you had an air leak there, you really wouldn't know it unless you put pressure on it from the tank going back. So if you had a leak, you wouldn't know it. Oh, you get air in the system, then you get less gas, and you get too much oil, and then you got oil running down the foot, it is what it is. The good things about it, man, I like it. I really enjoyed, the one we have now. Now I got it straightened out. There was nothing really wrong with the VROs. It's more little gas lines and vacuum tubes and things like that. So I really don't have anything bad to say about it, as long as the system's up like it is. But you got to be careful if you're ordering the parts, because it's a lot of times you'll get the mixed up parts where the first generation, second generation is out there floating around. You can still get them parts, and they're labeling them there now, as if they were like on eBay. They'll label them, as the original last number that's out there, and it can cause you a lot of problems. Pulse limiter valves, they're plain, they're simple. They're either blue or they're black. But the kits themselves, and if you really don't know what you're putting your hands on, what you're buying, it's best to buy Johnson parts from them, or whoever still sells them, to make it work right. But if you got you're running two engines and you got trouble, one smoking, one's not smoking hardly at all, you got issues as far as your VRO goes. It's just a ratio mix and how things are running. As long as both of your tanks with oil are good and they're pumping like they're supposed to be, they're getting gas like they're supposed to be, most of it just falls right into the VRO, as far as what you're actually running. So this is what killed them finally in the end. VRO was so bad they actually changed the name on it before it was over. I forgot what they called it now, but it was different. So hope this video was helpful on VRO. I'm not an expert at it, so there it is. Have yourself a good night.